matches, it looks like it's developed to a point where they're playing with a little bit of what I would typically call reckless abandon, where they're going into these matches just like, let's just play. And to be fair, we've seen teams win season finals with that kind of mentality. So it's not inherently bad. It's very different than what we expect. We're going to Clubhouse, and we'll see how Clubhouse pans out for these teams. If I'm looking at the stats, it's an okay map for United. It's one of the maps over the last few months that they've managed to win on, which makes it kind of, I guess for them, it makes it better. Evil Geniuses hasn't won a match in the last few months or so. So, every one of the maps is bad for them. This is one of their more banned maps. They don't really play it. They haven't played it in a while, so there's not really anything at all to go on. You guys are going to go give us a 55% for eUnited, 38% for Evil Geniuses in the community vote. So EG still having some fans that are really holding on firm. And eUnited, with their recent success, pushing themselves into that favored position.
That's a pretty tight vote, to be completely honest, especially given, the way that we've seen eUnited stack up against other teams. I noted that, they've taken a number of rounds off of teams that are statistically better than them in the standings, and they seem to be able to hang with these squads. The community vote, I don't think would really back that up when you look at, EG's performance here. EG's last victory came January 6th. Everything else since then has been a draw. That was, for those keeping track at home, that was the very first play day of Pro League where they beat Luminosity 7-5. This is, of course, ignoring match victories that EG had during their run through the 6 invitational qualifiers. This is specifically looking at Pro League, of course, and I don't know how much we can extrapolate from the 6 invitational qualifiers because there are Pro League teams that are going to be playing Tier 4, Tier 3, Tier 2 teams, not exactly the same level of competition. So we'll start up, though. Our very first matchup in the final play day here in North American Pro League. Evil Geniuses, a well-storied and historic roster, going up against eUnited, some more of the hotshot upstart team that is looking to end the season strong. And we're going to be playing on Clubhouse as the map band, or the operator bands are going in front of you.
All right. So far, looks like pretty much standard. Again, no stats really to pull on with Evil Geniuses, so we can't say much about their bans on this map. But Habana for eUnited is a typical ban. Echo, as well as Mai. In this case, let me see. It was actually it was Habana for eUnited and Amira. So a little bit of a divergence there for eUnited, but not exactly anything crazy. It's Amira. We're on Clubhouse. Montaigne will be brought here by Grixer to start things off. That does not bode well. We might have lost somebody already, but maybe it's calling for the rehost. So we'll be going back to us, and we'll figure out what's going on there as quickly as possible, then get back into the match as soon as we can. One thing we do know are the bans. So it's going to be Capital, Habana, Mira, and Echo, and at least we've got that to talk about.
It wouldn't be the start of a play day without our ceremonial rehost. So Spade's having some issues connecting, and now we are going to get back into this as soon as we can. There is so limited movement when it comes to these defender bans. Mira, Echo, Echo, Mira, etc. Back and forth forever. With
Mira,
the
Echo?
odd Maestro ban, depending on the map and depending on which teams are playing and who your opponent is. The odd Valkyrie ban, etc. Bank as well was a map where you could see some diversity. Obviously, it's been jettisoned out of the map pool, so you're not going to see Pulse bans, for example. You're not going to see Valkyrie bans, anything of that sort. So the Capital and Hibana is not really that strange. eUnited is going to run Call Out on Thermite, and they're going to run Alfama on Maverick. That's my guess with the way that they're going to tackle this, and that matches up very well with their operator pools and the way that they tend to play. Capital is an operator that Forest uses. You will now likely see him on Zofia, Grixer likely on IQ, and Yeti on Buck. There's your attacking lineup for eUnited, and since they're starting on attack, you're going to have Maverick, Thermite, Buck, IQ, and Zofia. That's my guess, unless they decide to go with an Ashe which is doable depending on which bomb site you're looking at. But who do you sub out? Do you sub out the Zofia? Do you sub out the IQ, etc.? As for EG, we don't really see them play Capitao even when it's available. You know, that we know that they have a Mira player in their midst, which is Necrox, but he hasn't played Mira in a hot minute because she's always banned. So expect EG on attack to completely forego the Echo and Mira play. They're likely going to run a smoke. They're probably going to run a Maestro more often than not. So those are just things to bear in mind with regards to the bans. It really doesn't hurt either of these teams. These are pretty standard bans, and both of the teams will be able to work around it.
Yeah, I'd say the only one that's like directly targeted is, and clearly Evil Geniuses have done research on this match because they banned Capitao, which United's played this map twice. Both times Capitao not banned, and they have played Capitao every single round. And so it's definitely a big tool for them. And I mean, it's a big tool for everyone. As Parker said, it's very standard. But getting it out of the way for Evil Geniuses, that's smart. Good for them. That's a good move. I think they did the research. I think they checked out the VODs they had available on eUnited. So that, again, that bodes very well for EG. You're probably right about the Maverick too. We're gonna see a lot of Maverick, a lot of Thermite, things like that. But looks like we're having some ongoing issues with Spades, as he's not managed to find his way back yet. So hopefully soon that is resolved. For this map, if I were to look again at the stats, there really isn't anything to talk about when it comes to Evil Geniuses. I could throw the dates further back. I mean, we can go into 2019, and then there'd be stuff to talk about on Clubhouse. That's all irrelevant at this point, you know? I will say, if you do that, if you throw far enough back, Clubhouse was one of Evil Genius's best maps. So, you know, that's another thing that could bode well for them, potentially. But that's all, again, outdated information. So not really much to say in that way. On the side of eUnited, though, they have played it twice, this map, twice in recent history, and it is a very good map for them. They lost it to Reciprocity 2-7, then managed to beat TSM on it 7-5. So that's a really good result against TSM. That was April 8th. So
yeah, that was just a couple days ago. That was last Wednesday. You casted that match?
Yep, I think so. I've casted. I'm pretty sure I've casted every single North American match this second half.
When was that?
It's all kind of a
when did I?
Just
when did I cast that match? When was it on the?
Anyway, it surprised a lot of people. So
it did. It was the last play day, and one of the things as well is that we can see Clubhouse again because your map that you just played is no longer banned. Whether that adds to greater map diversity or not, whether that expands a team's map pool or not, are things that you can address with the teams and speculate on your own. TSM, of course, have looked like a much more mortal team. Even though they thrashed Tempo Storm on the 11th, they lost to Rec on 10th, snapping their unbeaten streak, and then lost again to eUnited on Wednesday. So this is the place that TSM finds themselves in, but eUnited obviously put in really good effort, and as you pointed out, the Capitao ban is definitely going to change those results.
Yeah, it'll at the very least change eUnited's standard setup in terms of operators, because again, they've played Capitao 100% of the time over the last two maps. So we're just looking for more updates on the situation here. I guess we've kind of really talked out this match, to be honest, Parker. We've got... Spades has made it back in the nick of time. I was about to divert us to other matches for today. But no, he's made it. So as soon as everybody says they're ready, we will jump right back into the match and pick up from where we left off. End phase already done. Evil Geniuses is on defense, eUnited on attack, and we'll get to see what this match will actually tell us. Before we can actually transition you over, we will need to check that all the settings are correct, but we are loading in right now. So assuming they all are, we got the action just right around the corner.
One thing that I want to note of with Evil Geniuses, or rather two things actually that we can we can kind of start off this match talking about is, first and foremost, no matter what happens with this result, EG will finish in last place. Now, as far as we know, EG's not going to be getting kicked out of Pro League. There are no relegations, so they don't really need to worry about anything, which means that they can retool and come back strong with this roster. They are not in jeopardy of playing against a Challenger League team for their spot, at least as far as we know. We have no idea how that's working. We have no idea how promotion is going to be as we look towards a 10-team league in the future. Obviously, the whole situation with the pandemic, etc., has kind of, I imagine, thrown everything up in the air regardless. EG will finish dead last. Even a victory here will still have them trail Tempo Storm. And if you look at the results that we have seen from EG over the last X amount of play days, the second half of this season, EG have been much more competitive than they were in the first half. In the first half of the split, they picked up the victory over LG in the very first play day, and then they had one draw, which was against eUnited. Every other game that they played, the other 5 matches, were not just losses, but largely blowouts where they only won 2 or 3 rounds. This half, yeah, EG don't have a victory yet. So I guess you could say that it's not been as successful, but they do have a couple draws, and importantly, they're not getting crushed or blown out on their matches. They are quite literally competing. In every single match, they are competitive, just as eUnited is. And while eUnited has been the better team this half, EG have definitely looked better and in much greater form, and a large part of that is likely Spades coming onto this roster, and could be attributed to Ranger as the coach. I'm not exactly sure how hands-on he has been and how much of a system he changed, etc. That's something that we can ask them if they do prevail here, but ultimately, it's been a better second half for EG. So there is some promise and some things to look forward to if you're a fan of this squad.
Also, it's worth noting, eUnited through the second half of the season only play well / win draw against top 4 NA teams. And since Evil Geniuses is currently last, it is likely that eUnited will struggle. We're gonna get the first kill in this match though. Mo is gone. An early advantage with only a minute expended there. Bullet holes in the wall being used by Spades, but he's not going to get anything from it. He'll be caught, actually, and droned out. Spray coming through the wall here from Forrest, who's done great work with this DMR in the past. Free fires missed there from the Buck. See Spades trying to get away, but he's going to linger and be eliminated by Forrest, making great use of that DMR on Maverick.
I think Forrest actually spoke about this after the match and how the DMR, or maybe it was Alfama who talked about it in the interview. I can't remember exactly what it was, why we were so enamored, or rather enchanted, whatever word you want to use, by the fact that he was running the DMR on Maverick. I mean, the skin is great, but I mean, a lot of people much prefer the M4s. The rate of fire is typically king in this game. Regardless, you flushed both Spades and Mo Dig out, and you've now got quite a sizable advantage. This was an interesting roam strategy from EG. They didn't have everybody up top, as we see from many teams. They didn't put 4 people off site. They're instead going to do a little bit of half and half, so no full measures here, just half measures for them. It will give them a little bit more survivability and staying power on site, as you know how challenging it can be to crack down on the bomb sites down below. And just like that, Young peaks and lands a really nice shot on Forrest as the frag grenade was in hand. The Maverick will not be able to capitalize much on that. EG with some teeth to be able to fire back. Callout will need to put those exothermic charges to good use. I don't know if he's used both of them already, but it looks like it's going to be a take from the west side of the map. This means at the bottom of main stairs and over towards Moto, 10 seconds left, and EG will need to just simply try and ride this one out. But the kills from eUnited will come in. There's some fire to just wade through. 2 big kills from the Vigil of NVK. He's lined up for yet another. He won't get it. It's NVK now, 1-1v2. Where is he? Doesn't matter. Nobody had the diffuser, and remarkably, eUnited doesn't manage to get the objective down as the diffuser is surrendered amidst the flames into the door of church. Round number 1 will go to Evil Geniuses.
Lingering and languishing there for eUnited. They had enough time to get that execution off, but they didn't execute in the same exact moment, thus allowing for plenty of 1v1s or 1v2s where there's no crossfire for the attack. A big part of that, I'd say, is actually the early kill from Young over by Blue. Because Forrest was unable to land his nade, he was unable to establish confirmed control of Blue, and thus unable to maintain that crossfire, allowing for the execution from Moto to be so successful. And so it, well, wasn't successful. So solid job to Young there, and Evil Geniuses, well, they managed to put themselves in the lead. We're only one round in. Early days. Well, I've got to say, this holdout there from Evil Geniuses, again, really speaks to what you were talking about earlier, Parker, which is to say that EG have been more competitive leading up to the end. I think, again, I think that it's a degree of apathy that's taken a little bit of a turn towards let's just play and do our best, and less stressing over the result, because EG knows what the result is now. The pressure's off. I mean, what do they care? It's done now, and there's nothing that can be done to change that. So just play. And, you know, Young peeking from blue up into the drop down, that is the sort of play that some players, when the pressure is mounting, when the situation's dire, they won't commit to, because they're worried about messing it up. And, well, Young made the play, got the kill, and that helped the blue hold for a good portion of that round.
That's why I said it was very interesting that they went with this like half measures defense, because usually teams go all or nothing. You either have 3 to 4 of your teammates roam, which means that if they get flushed out and pushed, that you are holding on for dear life on the bomb site down below, or you only have 1 or 2 people roam, or even 1 person roam, just to try to waste as much time as possible. Maybe even have the Vigil play upstairs a bit more aggressively with the Mozzie. EG had a good setup. I like some of the changes that they made. NVK fell off early once he saw Mo go down, and that action happened over near Garage and over near CCTV. So eUnited reading into the roam well. Given the way that teams roam on Clubhouse, there isn't a ton of variation that you can do, but one thing that it did allow is it allowed EG a lot of time, because midway through that round, eUnited had to go right back onto drones and try to figure out, is NVK still roaming? Are the 2 members of EG on the bottom floor? Do we have to worry about them being above? And it took just enough time that when eUnited got their ducks in a row, the clock was at 15 seconds left. That is by no means enough time to pull off and execute, and it also means that you have to go for frags. And as you pointed out, Young being able to get that kill made it so that trading was still very much possible for eUnited, but wasn't as easy as it could have been. There's a C4, opens things up, quite literally. Not just the drop hatch, but also the fragging, as there's a kill on the scoreboard from Spades, and another one onto Alfama. Beautiful play inside of Bar, making a pain cocktail for eUnited, and EG finds a 3rd kill, this time at the hands of Young, as Grixer gets punished, and the diffuser is down. Yeti and Callout will need to go get it. Yeti knows that there's somebody playing inside a cache. He sees the feet, but can't exactly line up the shot. This is a rough spot for him to be in. He knows that the Goyo of Necrox is nearby. So instead, he'll try to pull out a frag grenade. Look longingly. Necrox gets popped out after he hears the frag grenade get prepped and ready. Great bait from Yeti. And now Callout is there by his side. 30 seconds left, and both members of eUnited are holed up inside of construction, and they'll have to work their way out, quite literally. Diffuser's not in their hand either. Callout rotates down below. He's inside a lounge, and he catches an NVK on the back. This will force Spades to position himself differently. He'll have to watch 2 separate angles, but he turns at the right time. A 3rd kill for him as Callout is tussling inside of Garage, distracted, and a 4K for Spades. How about you pad those stats, buddy? EG up 2-0.
Well played round there to Spades on the roam, doing a lot of work, and not only distracting, but also managing to get kills and make it back to site safe to later hold out against the eUnited attack. So, 2 rounds up for EG, and they've managed to put themselves in a solid lead position. But, I mean, that's just those 2 rounds. eUnited haven't really shown us anything yet. The big thing, of course, to keep an eye on is, are eUnited going to get psyched out? Because, of course, it's Clubhouse, it's, you know, defense, there's that statistical advantage that you have on that side. But, yeah, the main thing is just, is eUnited going to let it get to their heads? I mean, we've seen it happen before, not only with eUnited, but other teams, of course. And that has got to be the biggest risk factor for them right now. As Evil Geniuses are starting to play more and more confidently as time goes by. You got a man like Spades running around, picking up 4Ks, and he's just challenging everything. I mean, he didn't do anything anything typical or anything especially unique. I don't know why it was so hard for me to find those words, but Spades just kind of C4'd from below, went for a standard run out, Cam assisted, teammate assisted, and then challenged. He took fights one after another. He did it well, and yeah, that's the end of that story. So when you're getting 4Ks off of plays like that, it does, I think, kind of instill a sense of confidence in you as a squad. And Evil Geniuses have got to be feeling that right now. Like, oh, we can get away with this.
So it's going to be a very similar defensive setup this time, except it's going to be a separate bomb site. For those that are new to this game and new to this map, teams like to hold cache CCTV regardless of where they are playing. In fact, we actually see CCTV and even sometimes garage or cache get held for all three of the main sites that are currently in rotation. That's Church Arsenal downstairs. That's cache CCTV up top. And no, you did not just do that. Alfama gets 2 of the easiest kills of his life.
I know I said you can get away with stuff. I didn't mean it like that, guys. Deep breaths. A little bit of a pause there. Not necessary. I don't know. Too much overconfidence.
Attackers have located a
Entirely sure what they were thinking. There's another one for them as well, but it's more damage that's done to eUnited than it is to EG. Nitrocell now out has just added insurance to get tossed up, but hard to tell what they have. Rest easy, Alfama. You're done for. Spades on a tear. 5 kills in the last round and a half. Of course, riding off of that beautiful 4K. He's just going to watch the angle inside of Cache and see exactly where eUnited is going to turn their focus. They are instead falling a little bit off of the roam and instead heading towards a site execute. You look at the clock, there's a minute left. This is the right time to do that.
There goes Spades, so no 4K for him this round. United in a 4v2 with a minute, as you said, and that's so much time to execute onto 2 players. They have to be worried about the C4s available to Evil Geniuses, though. Those could really throw a wrench into the plans of eUnited, if used correctly. It's all going to come down to that timing. Comes to push in through Jim. Free fires out. DMR not spotting anyone. Soft destruction's in, though. Nice shot from MVK. He gets the second, but he's downed in exchange. Young now needs to get 2 kills to win this round. MVK will not be saved in all likelihood. Only 25 seconds left. Yeti will finally finish off MVK. Aiming at foot level there with that DMR shotgun. Ooh, Grixer is going to be the playmaker here. I don't think Young expects this position. Comes the shots, and there's Grixer cleaning it up. United will secure the round despite the chance that NVK gave his team.
Gave him a chance after what happened at the start of that round. Alfama picking up 2 as both Necrox and Mo lined up perfectly. Not ideal. Not an ideal spot to be in at all for EG. I think they were intending to swing and trade, and Alfama got a collateral, which is rare to see. That whole round for EG was actually kind of confusing. I mean, I think it would have been more structured and we would have understood it a little bit better had we not seen the 2 opening picks go in favor of eUnited so swiftly, but NVK really did hold that round together. He was able to waste a lot of time. He and Spades actually wasted quite a lot of time. You saw Spades get that pick for EG. That was huge and could have possibly won it back. But the one thing that Jim and Master doesn't allow for that Cache and CCTV do, and that Church and Arsenal do, is that when the attackers go to take Jim, if you don't have a nitro cell down below or an impact or pings or something like that to shoot through the floor, if you're not playing on that main floor, retaking is usually done at that point through either construction or through bathroom. Now, as you know, the construction doorway is a single doorway with no soft breach potential and no soft destruction. So if you're going to go through that single doorway, which is just to the left of Necrox right now, you're basically dead unless you can win your duel. But you're going to have to watch angles and lines of sight into the bathroom, into logistics, top of the stairs, possibly even into gym, possibly even playing on the windows as well, depending on how far you come out of construction. Additionally, the bathroom You can have bathroom get watched from somebody on the window in either gym or master, and you can have somebody watching it from construction. There's very limited playmaking potential on a retake there, which is why we see most of the successful clutches on gym master come from the top of main stairs slash logistics, and that's usually on a late rotate or a late retake, and that's happening because when you're at the top of main stairs or logistics, you can survive any take that's going to happen from the attackers by just simply going towards gym or even into master. You have a lot more options available. It was a very unwinnable situation from EG when Young found himself in that 1v2.
Forrest will relinquish the DMR in exchange for the M4. So return to normalcy for Mavericks at large, but not so much for Forrest. Spades gets one, looking for the second. He's cornered now. He's got mode to assist him. Flank here from Yeti could prove fruitful for eUnited. Still just a top floor clear here. And there goes NVK inside of the bathroom. But the push from Yeti shut down by Modiga. Finds yet another kill for EG on the roam. United now struggling to recover some amount of control. But it's basement hold. This might be a read from Forrest and his call to relinquish the top floor and instead engage the bottom floor. I mean, it could work out for United a little bit better than the roam clear that we just saw, because that was definitely unsuccessful.
It's again another opening pick from EG is able to give them a lot of room to breathe and really cut down on the time that eUnited is going to have to make this possible, especially with two of your most consistent players gone. eUnited without Alfama and Yeti have had a lot of struggles in matches to be able to pick up that extra load and be able to make up for essentially what is a loss of depth and fragging potential. I mean, you've still got Forrest and Grixer, and they can do great work, don't get me wrong. It's just most of the kills are happening in the hands of Alfama and Yeti. And Young is going to toy with but a moment a fight with Forrest as they are inches apart, but Young thinks that the push is coming from over towards Oil Pit. Not so. It's going to be much closer. The good news for him is that at range like that, the TCSG is almost guaranteed to one hit if it's the upper body, especially against a one armor as Forrest is. But Forrest just bursts in, trading out the DMR for the M4. Back to a 3v3, but he won't be able to get past NVK or Spades. Spades the one getting the kill there. C4 going out. It'll sail. It connects. Great play from Spades. He can't do all the work himself, but NVK can as he gets back to site just in time. That's Necrox, actually, not NVK. My apologies on the kill feed. Regardless, doesn't matter who it is. They both start with N. EG wins the round.
Solid defense there at the bottom floor for Evil Geniuses. I will say that C4 from Spades, while it did manage to get the kill on the player who was on the wall, it also downed his teammate, which obviously not great. But still, EG managed to win it. It mostly comes off of the roam on the top floor. I think we can all agree on that. United struggling to clear out the top floor. Then when they went for the site take, they really didn't have any chance, as they were at a severe disadvantage in terms of manpower and time. So EG really racking up these rounds on defense. They're looking very solid. United, on the other hand, some struggles for sure. Now, it's early days, and there's that side advantage to be considered. But at the same time, the life that we're seeing on display from Evil Geniuses is at the very least heartening to see. Now, we're going to cash for the next round. The Wamai Jaeger in tandem with the Goyo. Valkyrie's been really good for Spades, so why not keep bringing him? The Kaid has been very effectful. Why can I not say effective? At denying the walls. The Maverick, though, is the main thing for United, of course, to chew through that. I will say, though, that sometimes the electricity can do quite a lot of damage to a Maverick if he's not careful. Though a lot does ride on how exactly Forrest decides to try and open up this wall. Alfama also can just EMP it if they want to skip that step, but they don't know if there's a bandit or not, so they have to be careful. They'll drone for it. That's probably the right answer. Drone for it, check, then EMP double and thermite.
Looking to quickly open up this wall. There goes a frag grenade for good measure from Forrest. And there you go. Call-Out is able to do the work needed after they'd poked off any of the denial that was there, and Electric Law surely being the target, as there is nobody else that could have fulfilled that role on Evil Geniuses. Safer entry now, should you want it. And eUnited go back up onto the roof and they'll drone because they know that any information they had is now changed, because the moment that that wall opens up, the defenders are going to move to other parts of the map. And indeed, you can see somebody on EG is on a deep roam over by the main stairs, the top of Jim and Master. This is a cache CCTV defense, as Church is locked, and if you're EG, you're not exactly chomping at the bit to go back to Jim and Master, not after what happened last time.
C4 from below here for Spades. He's got a camera set for it. He's going to pre-place. And that'll be called out to his teammates. Now, one of his teammates will watch that camera while he waits to trigger the C4. And that's key. It looks like it might be NVK. Yeah, NVK is the one on the camera. And so he is watching to see for the right moment to detonate the C4. But it's been called out by Alfalma, as you can see, and thus will not, well, probably will not get any kills as long as that communication is relayed well. Oh, that's a wasted EMP there from Alfalma. A bat finger of epic proportions. C4 hasn't been detonated yet. Hasn't been shot yet, as far as I know, but possibly has been dealt with in some way or another.
That's honestly, that's a great drone spot as well from eUnited.
Yeah, they've been getting a lot of good drones to try and get information. I'm surprised they had such a niche little drone there to get the C4.
Yeah, the question that I want to know is how long is Spades going to take down there before he realizes that the jig is up. This is a double TCSG setup now from EG. Beautiful shots from Young. He's putting in a great performance. C4 will now go out from Necrox, the other TCSG on the board. He'll land his shots on the call out as the Thermite was having some struggles at that breach hole. Mo gets in on the fun, and it's Alfalma last alive. NVK will be there. Everybody but Spades was able to get their name on the kill feed. 4 out of the last 5. An excellent start, and they will capture the majority of the rounds on defense now, regardless of what happens on their very final D, which will almost certainly be back at Gym Master. There you go. Gym and Bedroom specifically will be the scene for the very final EG defense.
An awkward sight, but still half one for Evil Geniuses, so that's a big one. Even if they lose on Gym, they're not going to be upset about it. 4-2 is very workable. 5-1 would be effectively a win there for EG as long as they don't make any major mistakes. So, of course, push to get that 5-1 on this round. Now, that last round, eUnited, great job diverting their focus a little bit to try and shift to the workshop take from office and avoid the C4. They managed to get the control they want, but they didn't get the hard destruction on the workshop wall. And because the workshop wall wasn't opened up, they all just are funneling themselves in through the door. And as you noted earlier, the last time eUnited tried to attack onto Cash, that's really not a great way to attack Cash. So it ended up causing a lot of fatalities. Meanwhile, you don't really have much else going for you. I mean, the balcony control for eUnited was just one player. He died. I don't know. It was not the most thorough attack from eUnited, and I think a big part of that was they were stumbling over things like, hey, a pre-placed C4 is great and all. Good that you figured that out. Maybe use an EMP to get rid of it so you don't waste too much time. Or maybe just, you know, hunt the player who's placed it. I don't know. Or, oh, hey, you know, find a way to get around it quicker. I don't. It caused a lot of time wastage. I don't know. It was kind of weird. I think it has to do with communication. That'd be my guess. I'm assuming eUnited took a while to actually like get across, hey, there's a C4 and it's right here.
Drone up and running. Attackers have located a bomb.
Now, how much of this do you think is just simply the way that Clubhouse plays out? Because we touched on that earlier.
25%.
You said, you know, yeah, it's a defender-sided map. How much of that do you think is honestly just the way that we see Clubhouse versus how well you think the structure is that's coming in from EG?
Like I said, 75%. I think it's about 75% of the map. I mean, in that you're gonna, but that's not me being, please understand, I'm not trying to be harsh on EG. If I thought that EG...
I don't understand.
Bad, okay, I'll elaborate. If I thought EG was playing better, if I thought it was just all the map, I would say 90% or 95%. But no, Evil Geniuses are playing very well. They clearly have read into eUnited. There's definite, I'm sure there's been study put into this. Or at least, I'm not sure, I guess. You know, it's hard to really say not being on the team. But it seems like they've studied eUnited. Their band face says that. The way they're playing says that. And the biggest thing is, EG just doesn't seem afraid of anything. If they see an opportunity to do something, they're doing it. And that makes it very difficult to deal with gameplay.
I still don't understand. It sounds like you just hate EG.
What?
Yeah.
All right.
I have the collective intelligence of the YouTube comments section. First kill to Spades on to Forrest as he tries to open up the bottom of the bathroom wall. Now, they won't be able to do much when it comes to hard destruction on that wall, but it has forced EG to no longer be able to commit and play from that angle because you'll get shot away at, especially if eUnited has somebody stacked up over on the balcony, which is where Alfama tends to be playing and is currently playing now. He's got a friend with him. It's Call Out, and I don't know if they're going to try to get the exothermic charge down there as Spades just tries to prompt a fight. He's looking for one against Call Out, but he's not going to get it. Instead, he doesn't watch down below. There's Yeti, and some shots through the window from Grixer. Dispatch Necrox. NVK gets found as the Buck is now very firmly in charge, and it's possibly the last gasp here for EG on this defense. But they do get Mo back up, so all right. It's a 3v3. Yeti's on 1 HP. This is winnable, but it's going to come down to the fight that's going to emerge from just outside of logistics. Mo has been picked back up. He's there for one. Yeti gets traded out immediately after getting a kill, and Call Out will creep in. A missed opportunity from Young to be able to add to his 5 kills. Not too far off is Mo. They're both low on HP. A rotate in through logistics, but Call Out is not going to be able to make it. It's a good thing you picked him back up because he was the star of the show that round. Excellent play from Mo. And defender-sided or not, a 5-1 is quite the line that you want to go into the next half. EG very firmly in control of this match.
So that round would be the sum of the 25% I would attribute to Evil Geniuses, because that should have been an eUnited round. Through and through, it should have been. The execution came pretty thoroughly. The pressure applied from the south balcony was substantial. The biggest thing is Mo, of course, Modiga, with his excellent performance, but just the tenacity of Evil Geniuses to prevent an outright failure there and victory for eUnited. You don't see that all the time, and I did expect that to be the 4-2. Given that EG have secured a 5-1 going into the second half, yes, the disadvantaged side, I still expect them to actually turn this into a win at this point. It's not, obviously there's nothing definitive in Siege, but it is going to be really hard for EG to not win this. I'll just put it like that. United seem to want to roam on this round. They're bringing a castle, so it's going to be the SSG top floor roam on basement hold. Mute Mozzie combo will assist this, as will the Valkyrie. They've even got a Legion. So the Legion will be brought specifically as a solo anchor. Legion can do a lot of things as a solo anchor. Main thing, though, is that he can prevent a rush through all of the lanes. So it shouldn't take too long. Let's see, 1, 2, 3... about 5 Legion traps, and he's got all the bases covered, really. So it shouldn't take him too long to establish a net of information on all of the lanes so he can hold on to the site.
So very similar lineup coming in from EG, though they've instead got the Ash. We had speculated the operator lineups for eUnited, and we were pretty bang on, except the major difference being that it's Forrest playing Maverick, not Alfama. He was on Thatcher duty. And speaking of Alfama, both he and Spade seem to get into a bit of a tiff. A tizzy, if you could call it. They both lose about the same amount of HP. Spade comes out looking a little worse. That's because he's 1 armor versus the 2 armor of Mozzie. They probably did roughly about the same amount of damage to each other. This is a downstairs defense for eUnited. That's Church and Arsenal. And as we have come to expect on Clubhouse, there is presence off-site. For so long, this would have been strange to watch, but as new operators come in, well, things change. The Valkyrie of Yeti gets shut down by NVK. Nate's having a hell of a game, but that'll be it for him. Forrest manages to trade off, as eUnited had backup upstairs. It looks like Forrest might have been able to get out of there as quickly as he could, as the hatch is open inside of Moto. That'll now be seen and realized by Mo. So he will now need to do some drone work for himself. Also, it looked like we saw one player from eUnited still off-site. And they might have even been over in Strip. It does look that way. That's exactly where Alfama is playing.
Oh, wow.
Is he going to go for a run out here, or is he just playing a real deep roam? Because he could come back to haunt EG.
A bomb has been located.
Yeah, it looks like it's just a deep roam. It's all going to be about timing here. I will say the Castle Barricade by Billiards is going to really hurt his roam potential. Forrest will push up main stairs and take down Necrox, so the aggression we saw from EG now reflected onto them by eUnited after the side swap. OzzyPest still being a headache for Evil Geniuses, as they tend to be.
This is rough for them. I don't know how they're going to be able to do this with how limited time they have, and especially with Spades on very low HP. The rest of him will be caught out. No ace potential for Forrest as he gets a third kill, tracked well, but then taken out by Mo. Young is there as well, so they are working in great compatibility with one another. Young actually getting that diffuser off. The buck of Mo just narrowly missing out on the last member of EU that crossed his path. It's the Castle of Callout taking a lot of damage. Alfama is so far off site, he will need to retake. Where is he? C4? That'll be his. You know, he's coming on in. He gets taken down. How does EG win this round? My God, and they're on match point because of it. They looked like that death drop from Moto was going to be exactly as the name suggests. Death, and yet they still prevail. They take charge of Church, and with it the rest of the round. They've got 1 point for their troubles, and they're making sure that we're going home early after match 1.
Okay, so a couple of things have been established. One, eUnited sucks at playing against teams in the lower half of North American standings. They're just really bad at it. I mean, the record says that pretty clear. It's a weird thing to see. But they're really good at playing against top 4 teams. You know, they managed to draw against DZ. They beat TSM on this map in the last play day. Pretty crazy that. But then they lost in the play day prior to that to Luminosity. And they went toe-to-toe with SSG, bringing them 7-5. Got pretty darn close. They did lose it in the end, but hey, you know, that's something. SSG is the world champions. I mean, it's not a 100% rule, but it's been a weird season for eUnited, and they have this tendency to play poorly against teams that people expect them to just beat. Evil Geniuses being one of those teams, I would say. Now, EG, on the other hand, have seemingly reached their final form. Well, maybe not their final form. Maybe just gotten to a point in their development where they're looking really solid. Because the way that they're playing is very smart, yet reckless. The word that I would use to describe EG's play at its core is reckless. And that's okay. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Again, we've seen teams win championships with that kind of playstyle. And I applaud EG for finding something that works, because it's working really well.
What's on the line here for eUnited is just simply where they finish in the season. They enter the day tied in 5th/6th place, with Luminosity currently having that tiebreaker. So that puts eUnited in 6th. If they won here and LG lost, then 5th place would be eUnited's. It's not looking particularly likely right now. Even if LG loses, LG still finishes 5th. And as we've discussed many times, that prize pool doesn't change to reflect that.
Yeah. It goes up in increments of 2 until you hit 1st and 2nd. So it's 50 for 1st, 22 for 2nd, 16 for 3rd, 4th, 14 for 5th, 6th, 12 for 7th and 8th. And that's just it. So going up right now for United really doesn't mean anything in terms of prize pool, because they'd be ascending from 6th to 5th. They just want to maintain their current position, and looking at the standings right now, they can lose their spot, so they could descend at the very least.
That's a hell of a shot by Grixer, by the way.
Yeah, Grixer will take down Spades, and well, an advantage to eUnited.
That's a beautiful shot in return from EG. Both of these hands are quite hot for the squad in terms of Forrest and in terms of Mo. You're the telltale sign of the MPX. It's the Valkyrie of Alfama, not just doing good utility work and able to gather information, but also in terms of fragging potential. That'll leave the hard breach just as Necrox and the Maverick. Down goes the Thermite. You'd be very wary of somebody playing an oil pit or even off-site if you want to take lounge and then push up the red stairs, and that's exactly what EG is doing, droning it out to try and find the remaining positioning of this EU squad. Necrox gets the go-ahead, and he just walks right in. He knows that it's totally free, but there's a Valkyrie on the board, and no IQ from EG means that those Valkyrie cameras might be going unseen. You have to be very wary of somebody playing below, as we pointed out. If you've got somebody down in the lounge, that could end up being a C4. We know that somebody's over on top of red stairs, so Necrox will have to deal with that. He's got a cross that's currently being held by NVK, who can hit the shots that are needed. Mo can, though. He picks up his second kill, this time on Yeti. So these teams are back to a 3v3. Unfortunate for Yeti. Smoke being done to NVK as he now tries to get out of that yellow toxic canister. A rotate's going to come in, but no, Call gets spotted, but for a second, another smoke goes in, and NVK is trapped, ended off by a nitro cell of Alfama. The inability to shake EU off of the top of red will be their undoing. Grixter started things off with a kill. He gets the last two as well, and his smoke canisters were so instrumental at sowing chaos in the ranks of EG. eUnited are not done yet. They pick up a very important and crucial round as we now head to round number 9.
Great job to eUnited holding on to cash, but can they make it happen on the bottom floor? Interestingly, it looks like they might be trying Jim instead, avoiding that bottom floor altogether. That is a very different move here from eUnited than I would expect, as Jim is typically seen as an easy-to-attack bomb site, though they might catch Evil Geniuses a little unawares as it, well, who's going to Jim when you have bomb site, the bottom floor bomb site available? I mean, to be fair, the basement defense for United was pretty bad. So maybe I guess they're just, being honest with themselves. And we'll see if Evil Geniuses read into this. Castle barricades going up for the top floor. Most of them are going to be probably facing the south balcony, trying to make it easier for the anchors to play in their own bomb site. You might expect some also over to assist the roam and cash. None so far. Setup right now is pretty standard. No bandit tricking likely to last, but they're going to try it.
Attackers must locate and defuse the bomb.
Callout has decided to bring that operator. I wonder if that's going to work out for him, to be honest. I'm not sure it will. There's a lot of tools on the other team to...
Not entirely sure.
Sorry, there's a lot of teams on the other team to lock that up. Sorry, I had to sneeze.
No, that's okay. We all have to sneeze, Michael. Clean out your airways. Clean out those sinuses. It's important for your health. I am curious by this Gym Master defense, especially when you talk about how teams really don't like going here. EG proved that you can win it just a couple rounds ago, and there have been a lot of other teams that have proved that you can win it too, so not all hope is lost when you have to play on Gym Bedroom, but it's not exactly an ideal scenario. It's certainly better than bar stock, that's for sure. Jaeger gets spotted, but patience from NVK as he takes a couple shots, and well, he misses, as we seem to have an unfortunate audio issue.
It's the old mute jammer bug. It's a rare one.
I think that's a shot drone bug, actually.
Oh, it could be. Oh, you're right. Because sorry, my ears are busted.
Regardless, there goes one member of eUnited. It was Alfama who'd gotten the first kill. He gets taken out. Yeti as well. Down goes Forrest. Mo is just on an absolute rampage right now. He and Spades have had extraordinary performances. Actually, everybody except for Necrox so far has been able to steal the show in one of these rounds. Necrox not needing to yet, but surely has the talent to make up for it if required.
United definitely looking like they're in a bit of a struggle here. And you can see that EG are being very careful and thorough with their clear. Trying to lock out this match so we don't have to rehost for this bug. Though they don't know it exists right now. And it's spotted out inside of the bathroom. That'll be marked and called. Call out now will have to contest with information. Grixer also goes down. He's been a star, so it's all on call out to get a 4K and clutch it. He gets 2 beautiful kills. Gets shot from the south balcony and finished off. Evil Geniuses will take the match and a really dominant performance from them, managing to only drop, what was it, 1 round? 2 rounds?
Not bad at all.
7-2 there for Evil Geniuses.
They start off the season. With a win, and they end the season with 1 as well. Playing exceptionally and having good performances from everybody. Necrox, a very quiet 6-6, but overall, everybody on that team doing their part and playing exactly how you needed them to play. Especially Mo, who did really strong work on attack and was able to lead his team, along with the others, to victory. Not bad at all. A great way to start the season, and, well, EG still finishes dead last, but at least they ended on a high note with a win.
And like you said, starting and ending with a win. They only got those 2 wins the whole season. That's it. But a little bit of good news, I guess, for Evil Geniuses. And I doubt that United are even that angry about that, to be honest. You know, they got their own good news in the last play day. So, well, that's it for the match. We'll go to the interview.
We'll bring up Ranger for you. It has been far too long since I have spoken to you. How are you doing?
I'm doing a little bit better now. But yeah, no, it's obviously been far too long. So it was a good way to end the season, I suppose. Better than nothing.
Now, I mean, there's a lot of questions that I'm sure that we have compiled over the last couple play days for you. And I mean, forgive me if this isn't going to be exclusively focused on the final match that you just played here in this season, but more so just on like a general health of your squad, health of your team, etc. And the big thing, the very first question that I want to ask, because we haven't seen you since, was you picked up Spades. How is he fitting into this team, and how do you see his growth on this team, given that he came in at the last minute at the first half of the split?
Well, it was tough for Spades coming in, obviously, because he came in a season where there's been a lot of uncertainty with what's happening with us. So a lot of things have been up in the air, but, you know, I'm proud of the guys for sticking with it, grinding through the season. Obviously, you know, when the team made a big change when Canadian Troy left, and, you know, we tried Gotcha as an IGL, and we just kind of had to find our footing as a team that needed a new in-game leader. We ended up working on that with NVK, Nate, and he's grown a lot in that role. And I think kind of our message internally has just been, you know, let's take our time, let's grow as a team, and let's develop. And that's including developing new players to Pro League with Spades and Mo, who I think, you know, a lot of people watching, a lot of viewers have seen a lot of potential that we've seen in them. And I'm happy for Spades that he was finally able to show kind of today what monster of a player he is. Like, he just absolutely performed fantastically today. So, you know, props to him, props to the squad for keeping their heads in the game and kind of coming out with a big win today.
How much do you think having players with just an enormous amount of experience, like Necrox, like Young, like NVK, helps out the development and growth of players like Mo and Spades, who coming in had no Pro League experience prior to that?
I think it's a big thing. I mean, in general, it's like, you know, you have some very cool heads during matches, people, you know, who've been in all these scenarios, you know, they're not getting as frustrated, you know, with being down in matches and that kind of stuff. And I mean, obviously for them, it's been a big change. You know, they went from being on top, and, you know, it's no secret that we've struggled this season, both splits of it. But I think, you know, we knew that a lot of it was figuring out these roster things. So I think with Spades, we, in our eyes, you know, we solved that, and it was just a matter of having the time to, you know, develop the team and, you know, make sure everything works and build it up.
What was your biggest goal coming in as a coach? I mean, you step in here and you basically have to try to pull this team through, as you said, you know, an uncertain period. What was your biggest I want to know what you feel your biggest achievement is on this roster so far, and what your biggest focus of work has been since stepping onto the team.
I mean, it was kind of 2 different periods, right? When it was with Gotcha, it was trying to kind of, you know, patch holes and keep the system that we'd kind of had with Gotcha with previous experience with the team and him being the IGL, and kind of just trying to like make that work. And then when we made the decision to go over to Spades, it was kind of a breath of fresh air, I think, for me as well as the whole team. It was okay, let's actually figure out how we want this to work. Let's kind of figure out how everything's going to work role wise. I'm sure you guys saw at the end of last split where we were kind of cycling Young through some different roles. He tried nades, he wasn't on hard breach. We tried moving Gotcha to hard breach. There was some stuff we were experimenting with, and ultimately that roster just wasn't going to work. We weren't able to find the synergy there. And, that happens. We made the decision to move on after one split from Gotcha. We brought in Spades, someone who obviously has a tremendous amount of talent. And then it's just a matter of activating his talent. It made Mo more comfortable. He is obviously a fantastic player. And, a big thing for Mo, I think, is environment and comfort. So our goal has been to enable those two, and then to, just rely on the veterancy of Nate, Young, and Amar to kind of round out and have a very solid team. And so, it's taken a lot longer than we would have hoped. We were hoping that coming into the season we were going to be strong from the get-go, but we never lost our heads. We kind of just kept down, and we knew that this is a roster that has a lot of potential. It's just a matter of getting there.
Well, it seems like that potential is starting to be realized. The second half of the season, the second split, your matches were far more competitive, and you end, as you said, it wasn't exactly the greatest results for the whole season, but you do end on a bit of a high note here. So anything to say to the fans, etc., everybody watching? You've got the time to do so.
Yeah, the big thing is we appreciate you guys sticking with us. We know it wasn't the split you wanted. It wasn't the split we wanted. And whatever happens next, we really hope that you continue to support us, because we do truly believe that with these players, we can accomplish great things. So it's just a matter of having the time to do that. And our only hope at this point is that we get the chance to show you that.
Well, it is always an extreme pleasure to be able to exchange words with you and talk to you on here and pick your brain at the same time. So congratulations. I know that the team has worked hard, and it's been a real pleasure watching you this season so far, and it's nice to see you end it with a W. Take care of yourself, and I'm sure we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, thank you, and have a good night.